The uh, case of the arson attempt on Keir Starmer's property is very disturbing, and while it's still sub judice, it raises troubling questions, nevertheless, about the fragility of democratic safety, the nature of symbolic violence, the invisible networks of political intimidation, and it's some it's concerning um, that the arrest and the charge of the 21-year-old Ukrainian national Roman Lavrinovich is who's the person who stands accused of 3 counts of arson with intent to endanger life, including one incident directly targeting the property linked to Prime Minister Keir Starmer. This isn't merely police procedure, it's a moment that touches the very architecture of political legitimacy, the sanctity of the home, the weaponization of fire in the theatre of intimidation. And Lavrinovich was arrested in the early hours of Tuesday, on the 13th of May in Sydenham in southeast London, and his name has now been released following a rapid investigation by the Metropolitan Police's Counter-Terrorism Command. He's now been formally charged with 3 counts of arson with intent to endanger life or being reckless as to whether life would be endangered, grave charges under Section 1 of the Criminal Damage Act 1971. And the incidents in question took place over a period of 4 days. First, in the early hours of May the 8th, a Toyota, formerly owned by Starmer and later sold to a neighbour, was torched in Kentish Town. The fire was violent enough to melt nearby objects, including a bicycle or a bicycle tyre. What was initially assumed to be a battery malfunction quickly escalated in significance because of the previous owner of the car. On May the 11th, a flat in Islington, once owned by Starmer, was targeted, and then in the early hours of May the 12th, the front entrance of Starmer's former family home in Tufnell Park, now rented by his sister-in-law, was set alight, and though no injuries were reported, the timing, the proximity, the targets were enough to merit a full-scale counter-terrorism investigation. What's caught the public imagination, however, is not merely the fact of this threat to our democratic system, but the man accused. Lavrinovich was described by neighbours as quiet, as a courteous figure, often seen smoking or on his phone outside late at night. He helped with parcels, he made polite greetings, he appeared unremarkable, and this ordinary demeanour has lent the story a surreal tone, the classic disjunction between appearance and alleged intent. 2 women believed to be his relatives appeared visibly distressed and refused comment, merely saying, "We can't even talk, it's too much." His landlord and local residents expressed disbelief. There was no talk of radicalisation, no evident instability, only a sense of eerie normality, interrupted by the battering ram of a dawn raid and police in hazmat suits. And the implications are more than personal. At Prime Minister's questions, Keir Starmer himself called this an attack on democracy. He's not being melodramatic. Politically motivated arson, particularly when linked to the head of a government, cannot be treated as mere vandalism. Fire becomes here a theatrical tool of terror, symbolic, visible, and powerfully destructive. So what was this, as some people have suspected, the work of a lone actor, or perhaps more worryingly, a proxy move in a deeper campaign? And just 1 day earlier, German authorities arrested 3 Ukrainian nationals suspected of plotting parcel bomb attacks on behalf of the Russian state. Is this what we're looking at? Whether Lavrinovich's case has such global tentacles remains to be seen, but the suspicion has already animated commentary in Whitehall and Westminster alike. And the CPS has been careful to stress Lavrinovich's presumption of innocence. He has a right to a fair trial, said Bethan David, head of the Counter-Terrorism Division, urging restraint and silence until legal processes unfold. Yet even before the verdict, the episode speaks volumes about the psychological vulnerability of public officials and the symbolic currency of violence in our age. A Prime Minister's door, a burnt-out family car, an arsonist who might just have been your neighbour. This is what political disorder looks like when dressed in domestic clothing. And we should do well to keep calm, but certainly not to look away.